Hey everyone, this is Philip with EGR Auto. Here are 5 reasons why I think the new Promasters 2022 and up will be much better in reliability than the previous years. Number 1, electric power steering. No more fluids, just electric power steering, less parts. Number 2, 9-speed transmission. These transmissions are sealed for life, so less maintenance, more speeds, better fuel economy. Number 3, redesigned cowl. Right? One-piece cowl, no more water leaks on top of the engine. Number 4, electric parking brakes. That's another big one. And last one, cluster on these vehicles. Much needed update from the previous versions. So right now you can see the electric power steering in there. So less components, no fluids, no leaks. This power steering rack will probably cost you a little more money, but I think it will be less headaches and better performance. The parking brake is now electronic. So the parking brake is built into the caliper, which I think is the best thing Chrysler could do, because these Promasters, they had a brake discs with a caliper, plus they had a shoes inside, and those shoes, they would fail once in a while and causing lots of noises and damage to the ABS sensors and rotor and everything. I don't like electronic brakes too much. I mean parking brakes. I like the feel of a handbrake, but in this case it's really nice. So you can see you don't have any linkage here. So these are brakes on the older version Promaster. So the shoes are inside, and those shoes are pretty expensive from Mopar. There's an adjustment that you can do through the window here. You gotta kind of line up the rotor, and you can adjust the shoes once in a while. And as you can see, the parking cable goes through the hub, and these parking cables are prone to seizing up. As you can see, a little bit of the rust on the right cable, and that can actually develop inside those sleeves, especially in the winter time. You got the salt from the roads going in there and everything, so these are pretty common to replace in the winter times. And then this lever, brake lever or mechanism, that kind of transfers to another cable with another adjustment that goes inside the cabin for your handbrake. This one is prone to failure as well. It gets rusty and stops working. It just seizes up. So this 2023 model comes with one-piece cowl. This is huge because the older Promasters, they were 2 pieces and were separated right in the middle here, and the seal was very poor that even on the new ones it would leak water right on top of the engine. And as the time goes by, the seal will get worse and worse, and eventually the water will be pouring on top of the intake manifold. So the bolts that hold the intake manifold would corrode, and it would make it nearly impossible to remove the intake manifold. So you won't have a problem on this Promaster because it's a one piece. I also like the much needed refresh of the instrument panel, especially the gauges and the information center. You don't need a key, so you just push Now you can see a little more stuff, tire pressures. So you just have a little more controls and more information for you on right in front of you. Still have place to put your paperwork. Battery is still in the same place. Now, as you can see, there's not much room to put your hands on the engine. So you still have to remove the front end. And unfortunately, this front end is a little harder to remove than the previous one. So on this one, you might need to remove the headlights, the front fascia cover, the radiator support, you know, to do anything on the engine basically. I think they could have done a better job with is to access the oil filter. The oil filter is a little tricky to access. You need special tools. So this is the 24mm shallow socket for the oil filter, and this is the wobble on the extension. So you can see it's got quite a bit of angle, and now it's a lot easier to put a wrench in there. Now if you would like to service the air filter, which you should about, I don't know, 20,000 miles or so, this is going to be a little bit more work than on the previous Promaster. On this one you will have to remove the headlight so you can reach all the bolts. To remove the headlight, you're going to have to remove the front fascia cover. So this is just going to be from mechanic's perspective, right? This engine actually has an EGR valve now, which is right there with the hose. And on the previous models, there was no EGR valve. The exhaust gas recirculation on previous models was done by advancing and retarding the camshafts, which this engine still has, but they decided to include that EGR valve anyway. So that makes it a little more harder to work on these engines.